Hey, everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday night. My guest tonight is not only a member of the Country Music Hall of Fame, but also the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. He's a 5-time Grammy Award winner and a legend in the business by all means. Recently, he has added a brand new accolade to his career, and that is songwriter. And we're going to talk about that tonight, and it's a pleasure to welcome the mighty Oak Ridge boy, William Lee Golden, to My Kind of Country. William, how are you tonight?
Scott, I'm doing great, man. Thank you for letting me visit with you here on your show, and it has been a great career that I've been involved with the Oak Ridge Boys for all these years since 1965, I guess.
My gosh, that's wonderful. Well, before we get into our conversation, I do want to extend my heartfelt condolences to you and your family on the death of Rusty, and also for Joe. Our family sends our prayers, and we've been with you right along, sending our thoughts and prayers.
I appreciate that, Scott. That's much appreciated, sir, and I thank you for remembering them.
Absolutely. Well, I found this really hard to believe that you have never written a song until now. Tell me the story behind "I've Got My Heart on You."
Well, it's a song that I wrote, and it is the first song that I've ever really written. I tried to write a song one time with a friend, but I don't know, it never quite happened, you know. This situation was something that I was dealing with here maybe 3 years ago or so, or I don't know. But I was home alone and reflecting back on life and trying to reach my young son, Solomon. It was hard to reach him, you know, my youngest son, Solomon. And when he was young, growing up, he would leave me messages on my phone. And the message would, when he was 5 and 6 years old, he would leave me a message. He'd call, and I may be on stage or something, but he would leave it. He would say, "Hey, Dad, this is Solomon. I got my heart on you." And that became his words of saying and that he loved us, you know. That was his expressive words and it was so precious to me when he would leave those messages, and I'd kept them on my phone, and he would leave another one sometime. That became our communication for us, our love words for each other, I guess. It was his words.
Mm-hmm.
I got my heart on you, and it was said in a simple way that most people just say "I love you," you know, but it was his way as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old to share his heartfelt feelings for us and for me. And anyhow, while he was young, growing up until he got about 12, you know, we would travel on vacations, a summer trip and a winter trip. After the Christmas tour, we'd go to Virgin Islands and things, and so I'm thinking back on all of that, and what was happening was Solomon was a teenager, and he was in high school, and his mother we divorced when he was about 12. He's 23 now, so that was about 11 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
she moved and took him to Austin, Texas, pulled him away from me, and made it real hard for me to have a father-son relationship and, you know, to be able to visit each other once a week or whenever I'm home. And it was heart-wrenching to deal with. You're in a helpless feeling, and I was home alone, and I was trying to reach out, trying to reach him, and I was getting no response, and I didn't know how to reach him because then his phone would be full, and you couldn't leave a message. And Solomon was my youngest son, and I missed him so much because it was so much a part of, gave me so much joy when I would come home and be a father and being a family man. You know, I mean, they're never out of your heart. But 150 days a year, I was an absentee husband and an absentee father, traveling with the Oak Ridge Boys, and but I was never absent in my heart, in my mind, and that was. But it was a situation of anguish that I was dealing with, and I started. The only way I knew to get out my feelings is something I could share with him at some point while I could. I'm not getting any younger. I'm an old father and an old grandfather and an old great grandfather now 3 times. So anyhow, I wanted to get my heart out and my feelings out for Solomon to know and get him something that more than just write him a letter and try to tell him how I feel, because that could get lost or put in the trash or whatever. But I just wanted him to know that just how precious every moment was that we had been able to spend together from the time he was born until he was 12 years old, and until he moved away. And so that started. That was my whole inspiration of writing this song.
Wow, that's a.
And I wrote it and sang it all weekend. I would hear by myself, and I could not get out of that frame of mind. I was deep into creating that and to having something that I could share with him of my sincere heart feelings and put it in song form. And I didn't identify the person that I was singing to in the song because I would want it to maybe a song that he could sing to somebody, or that anyone else could sing it and feel that way about someone that they were in love with, regardless if it was their lover or a child or whatever it was. But to me, it happened to be feelings that I was feeling, and sadness, and remembering the love that we had and shared when he was young. And but I didn't put music to them. I did the melody to it, but I didn't play music myself to put to it. And I was going to get somebody to help me with to take a chart on my song and to play it for me while I would sing it. But again, being busy doing other things, I kept putting that off. And I shared with Jeff Panther, my best friend out in L.A., television producer and manager of Danny Stefanati. But I shared him that I had written this thing, but he kept wanting to hear it, and it was probably 8 or 9 months later before he kept. But he didn't ask me ever so often, man, did you ever finish that song? I want to hear what you did. And anyhow, he then said, well, look, why don't you sing it into your phone, your message app, and then send that to me. Let me hear what you got. Said, I've got somebody here that can help put your music to it. And so I did. I sang it to my phone and sent it to him. And I had met Danny Stefanati and met her before. She had been to Nashville and went out with the Oaks to do the Grand Ole Opry and that stuff. And so, but what happened is I sent that to Jeff. Jeff got Danny involved with it to help put a track together for me to sing it to. And so what she did, Danny is an extremely talented young girl, and she's a great singer. She's a great songwriter. She's written over 300 songs.
Oh, wow.
She is an accomplished guitar player, an incredible guitar player, and she grew up with her guitar in her hand. And anyhow, she helped me put this together, put a whole track together. She layered her guitar playing, and she put all of that on there, everything sing, and I wanted her to sing the second verse, which she did, and then we sang the song together. We did a duet on it. But Jeff Panzer also contacted our friend Adam Wagner, who does videos. He brought his video camera out here and set it up here in this front room, and he videoed us recording this and singing it together. So that's what we have, and I'm able to now give my son something that would hopefully be more than just a note, trying to explain how much I love him and how much I miss him, and anyhow, just how special in my life that my family is, and that's what it was all about. That's what it's all. But I would not. The song is much better since Danny helped me put it together. What Danny did is she picked the tempo up from what I originally sent him, just me singing a vocal. But she picked the tempo up some and put a different feel to it. She made it more contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
And she took what to me would have been a sad love song and made a happy love song out of it.
Yeah.
Picking up the beat and changing a couple of lines. She thought that I should repeat the first line in the chorus. And she was right. It was actually better than the second line. And she said, sometimes a good line needs to be repeated. And that with a bridge, she thought that those lines should also be repeated. It kind of solidifies what the bridge is and what the choruses are.
Mm-hmm.
But she was a great asset in me refining my song and making it into a song that I'm proud of and feel good about to give to my son.
And you should be. It's a beautiful song. I guess if you're going to pick an inspiration to write a song for the first time, I can't think of anything more poignant than that. That's absolutely an amazing story.
Well, it was, again, it was from feeling like that I had lost touch with my son because I couldn't get response from him there for days and weeks sometimes, and so it was heart-wrenching for me after, spending time with him growing up and just how close and
Sure.
how precious he always was, and the words that he said, I got my heart on you, that it's just the way it said like that was kind of unique to me, of an innocent child expressing his love and heart feelings for his parents at that time when he's that age.
Can I ask you if your son has heard this song?
I've sent it to him. He has heard it, and he likes it. And but I haven't sent the whole finished thing, and we will bust video, and I want him to have that too.
Well, music brings people together. Music is very healing, and my hope is that will help to repair that relationship that you have and bring you guys closer together. I think that would be a great thing.
Well, Solomon is now. He called me last week, and we talked. He was sharing with me that he's in his fourth year, I guess, at college and studying medicine. He's already an EMT, emergency management technician, and he's studying to be a practitioner, a doctor practitioner of medicine, and to be able to do it in the field,
Oh, that's great.
I know he was studying the last semester about doing cesareans out in the field, flying a helicopter to somewhere, to some situation, and that needs to be done, being able to save the mother and the child in a situation
Absolutely.
to be happening, but it's preparing him for working in that field. He wanted to do medicine because his grandfather, his mother's father, was 24 years in the 101st Airborne and was a medic. He did 2 tours of Korea, did 5 tours of Vietnam, and anyhow, Solomon
Folks, you can go to WilliamLeeGolden.com, OakRidgeBoys.com, and those are the websites. This song is available September the 27th. I've Got My Heart on You, William Lee Golden and Danny Stefanetti. It's a beautiful song for sure. And William, you've got and in addition to that, you're dropping a brand new album with the Oaks, October the 25th, Mama's Boys. And this is the first one with Ben James. Tell me a little bit about that album.
Well, it's the 5th album that Dave Cobb has produced on the Oak Ridge Boys. And as you know, Dave Cobb is the hottest record producer in Nashville today. He's did all of Chris Stapleton's albums. A couple of years ago, he did the soundtrack for the Elvis movie, that great music that when Elvis first hit, it was that music when rock and roll spawned out of revival music and revival sounds. It's a shout in churches, the spirit-filled churches, and it's kind of, that's where rock and roll, your Little Richards and Chuck Berry's, and Little Richard came out of church singing and playing, and anyhow, Dave Cobb has a close connection with old gospel music, and he loves old rock and roll. He likes to go back to that feeling of music when rock and roll first hit, and that's what he did, put that Elvis movie together, the soundtracks for all that music. It's that feel of when it was fresh, man. That was so exciting to go to that movie and him capture the real feel of I grew up during that. So it was exciting and stimulating to me. There was a music was as good or better than anything in the movie, and but that's Dave Cobb. He produced this. We did it in January, and Ben James, the young kid that's singing tenor with the Oak Ridge Boys now, we lost Joe Bonzo back in 9th of July, and we miss Joe, but God works in mysterious ways. Joe was suffering with ALS for 3 years, and Lou Gehrig's disease is a degenerative muscular issue, and he slowly went down, losing his muscle control, for his legs, and not being able, was having to be helped on by 2 people and helped off the stage by 2 people. So it was heart-wrenching to see the struggle last year that he was struggling, holding on, still going. He wanted to go every mile he could, and he did. And December, he couldn't go any further, and he just said, guys, I can't go another mile. He said, I've got to get off the road here, and he called Ben James the next day and asked him, fill in, take his spot in the Oak Ridge Boys. And Ben is a young singer that comes out of bluegrass music, and he loves gospel music, but Tony Brown, that produces George Strait and Reba McEntire, he's produced stuff on Vince Gill. He was here at my house and heard Ben James sing. He heard Danny Stefanetti sing here, and I brought him over to hear Danny, and then Ben dropped by. And after Danny sang a few songs, I handed her guitar over to Ben James and asked him to sing a song for us. And he sang a song, and Tony Brown heard it, and he said, man, he said, it's been a whole generation that I've not heard a voice like that. He said, you have a voice just like Vince Gill, but you're a brand new generation with a voice like Vince Gill. Wow. And so to me, that's about as high a compliment as
well, I
we
guess
ever
so.
have for
Yeah,
a
I
guy
guess
that
so.
stepped in to be a new member of the Oak Ridge Boys. High lonesome sound like Vince Gill, and he does. He brings that real unique expression of high singing, of tenor singing with the Oak Ridge Boys. It's been a phenomenal fit for our group for the energy that Ben brings and the vocal performance that he brings.
Wow.
And he's been doing shows with us ever since. We haven't had to have a rehearsal. He's sang every song, every note, hasn't missed a note.
That's great.
I've missed no more notes than he has. So it's amazing how well and what a great ear and a great voice he has, and what a great singer he is.
And with Joe's blessing, too. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Vince Gill, he's singing with the Eagles.
Yeah.
So we certainly couldn't afford that guy.
That's for sure. And you've got a single from that album, I Thought About You, Lord, with Willie Nelson. That's a beautiful song. I want to play that one, too, tonight for our listeners.
Okay.
That's
that
a
is
song.
a great. The first time we'd ever got to sing with Willie Nelson.
Oh, really? Wow. That's great.
But again, I think that was Dave Cobb that wanted Willie to sing that with us.
Oh, that's great.
And he was able to pull it off because of who Dave Cobb is. He's a young producer. It's been a thrill to get to know him and to record with him. And he loves old-time gospel music, too. He grew up, his grandparents, his grandmother, and she was a big influence on him. And he grew up in a home with no TV, and it was all about music. I grew up in a home with no TV, so I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, I know that you guys have a lot of tour dates booked this fall. Are you planning to continue with the Oak Ridge Boys, or is this going to be the final year?
What I want to do is I want the Oak Ridge Boys to continue, because none of us started the Oak Ridge Boys. We all joined the Oak Ridge Boys. Each one of us replaced a great singer. And I think that when a guy gets to where he can't go any further, he needs to pass the torch to a young guy that can carry the torch forward. We have a tremendous catalog of music that we've recorded, and there's great songs being written every day for the future recordings. And again, it's been inspiring to see a young guy like Ben James come into the Oak Ridge Boys and fit so well.
Yeah.
Makes me realize that we should all do that. We should all pass the torch to a brand new generation of Oak Ridge Boys when it's time. And until then, we sing until we find those people.
Man, that's great. I know your fans are going to be happy to hear that, too. That's wonderful. That's a great way to look at it, for sure. And, my gosh, you're staying busy. You've got the Goldens, of course. We've done a feature about that, and beautiful music you're doing with them. And you're just staying busy. And I love your energy on stage. I watch videos on YouTube and stuff of you guys on stage, and I love your energy and running across the stage. And I think it's a cool thing that you pass out set lists. My daughter, we took her to see the Beach Boys, and she got a set list from the Beach Boys, and I'll tell you what, she just absolutely treasures that. And I think that is such a cool thing that you take the time to do for your fans.
Well, it's something I got to do a few years ago, when we had good set lists. I thought, man, these are keepsakes for whoever's here tonight. Each date is normally dated, each set list, and for the town and everything else, the date. But I think that works good like that, and to share that night show with whoever the most forward fans that you got out there that want to make their way up to the front of the stage and get there where they can receive one. So those are the ones that I give it to, the ones that when they come up to the edge of the stage on Elvira and Bobby Sue, there's a handout to set this.
That is
and
great.
Again, there's some people want more than, it's every time they come, there's certain long-time fans that
Oh, sure.
come to see you several times a year. Some of them have treasured those and keep them in scrapbooks and put all those sets that they can ever get together. So that's pretty cool.
You bet.
You got
bet.
some of them that want a whole lot more than one set, want to keep a file of the ones that they go and see.
Amen. That's great. Well, William, I want to thank you so much for being so giving of your time today. I always enjoy our conversations, and I hope that folks will pick up a copy of I've Got My Heart on You. We're going to play that, and make sure you pre-order the new album from the Oak Ridge Boys, Mama's Boys. It comes out October 25th, and we're going to play I Thought About You, Lord, as well with Willie Nelson tonight.
Thank you, sir. Scott, you've been a great host. I know I've run my mouth, and thank you for letting me visit with you.
Well, it is my honor always to have you on the show, and we've been longtime supporters of the Oak Ridge Boys, and that's never going to change. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I hope we get a chance to talk again.
Me too. Me too. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. William Lee Golden, folks, with My Kind of Country here as I've Got My Heart on You as we continue. Thanks again, William.